The Dark Thing in the Grass. Peter and Jeff were good friends and spent a lot of time together. Sometimes after school they spent their time playing games. Halloween was coming up and they decided that they would go to the mall and find some great costumes after school. Since it was Friday, Jeff decided the best time would be Saturday. Peter agreed. One Saturday night, Jeff and Peter were playing a game as usual. Jeff had just gotten a new game for his birthday. They had spent all day playing the game when Peter looked at his watch and he realized it was late. And they'd forgotten to go to the mall. But worst of all, he knew he had to be home or his mom would ground him. "I gotta get home," he said to Jeff. In fact, Jeff was supposed to spend the night over at Peter's house, since Jeff's parents were out of town. His mom had already texted Peter and he knew that if he didn't get home soon, he would never be able to spend the day with Jeff again. After getting their things, they set off on their way. Peter's house wasn't that far, but the neighborhood was always creepy at night. Jeff and Peter especially hated walking past a long, empty field where the grass had grown so long it looked like a corn pasture. Far into the field was also a creepy graveyard, old as the neighborhood and just as creepy at night. Just as they came close to the tall grass, they spotted something crawling out and standing up. It looked like a man, but with little light in the grass, it was hard to tell. Then it was gone just as quick. Jeff got nervous, but he was too embarrassed to tell Peter, who seemed as freaked out. Soon the thing was back. It walked halfway across the field, then it turned and went back into the tall grass, and vanished. Then it came back a third time and started toward Jeff and Peter. By now, Jeff and Peter were scared and started to run, but soon stopped, realizing they were being foolish, and even poked fun at each other for getting so easily scared. Someone was obviously trying to scare them, so they decided to go back and get a better look. It was probably one of their friends playing a prank this close to Halloween. There was no doubt. But as soon as they neared, they saw it, and it seemed to be coming to meet them. It was wearing dark pants, a white shirt, and blue tennis shoes. No doubt it had to be someone they knew. The dark thing walked behind a tree about 10 feet from them. But now the boys were annoyed. This was a prank. "I'm going to go see who it is. They will know who's messing with us," Jeff said. He walked over to the tree, standing around the other side in order to scare the person standing behind it. But when he did, he was startled and met with two hollow, piercing eyes and sunken cheeks. Its face was dark and shriveled into its head. It looked like a skeleton. Jeff took one look and screamed, and again he and Peter ran, but this time the skeleton followed them. When they got to Peter's house, they raced inside, slamming the door closed. Now watching it from the front window, it stayed out on the dark, empty road for a while, watching them. Then it disappeared into the darkness. Seeing them trembling by the window, Peter's mother asked what was wrong. They explained what they had seen. But either Peter's mother didn't believe them, or just brushed it away as the great imagination of young boys. Despite the horrible thing they had seen, Peter and Jeff went to bed after dinner, but that night neither one could sleep. The next day was Halloween, and right after school Peter and Jeff went trick-or-treating. Since neither one of them had a costume, they decided to go as zombies. Jeff even went as far as painting his face green. Throughout the night they gathered so much candy they were ready to go home and start enjoying it. It was already past their bedtime when they neared the area where the field that they had to walk past to get to Jeff's house. But as soon as they started down the path, they got that feeling again of uneasiness. Jeff hesitated, while Peter said he wasn't afraid, but there was a little tremble in his voice when he said it. Just as they started up the path, they saw it. But it was standing 10 feet from them on the path. It was dark and tall, its eyes almost glowing in the darkness. It moved into the field, where it vanished again, then came right back out. Jeff and Peter didn't know what to do. When it came, it went back into the field again and came out, but it was closer than before. They soon became aware that each time it did that, it came closer and closer, and soon it would be right on front of them. Too scared to wait, Jeff sprang from his spot just as it went back into the tall grass. He raced across the path, nearly falling over his feet. Peter was right on his heels. Just as they passed the spot, the thing came out, and they came close to knocking right into it. As they both screamed bloody murder, the thing reached out and touched Jeff's shoulder. However, he managed to escape with nothing but a rip on his shirt. 2 weeks later, Jeff got sick and even missed a few days of school. Peter hadn't talked to him in a few days. His mom said he was too ill to speak. So one day after school, Peter went to see his friend at his house. His mom told him he was in his bedroom. Peter climbed the stairs up to his bedroom and found Jeff, with his back to the door, on the bed. When he called to him, Jeff didn't answer, so Peter came closer, but still no answer. Peter took a seat on the side of the bed and reached over to turn Jeff over. He did, but flinched in terror. The skeleton from that night was staring back at him from Jeff's bed. The next day, when Peter was in class, he was asked by his other friends about Jeff. Peter only said that Jeff looked like the skeleton that had chased them on Halloween night.